All right, this is Tom Saylor again, you guys. Now, let me talk about briefly Streetview. And you can learn a lot, and you don't need to get in your car and drive across the world or across the United States. You can learn a lot, and Redfin has one of the best Street View apps going. If they don't have Street View in Redfin, probably there's no Google Earth Street View either. But Redfin's Street View, in my opinion, works better than Google Earth. Let's say we're looking at a bunch of properties, and this is Chicago. This is my stomping grounds pretty much. And I've got my filters in. And truthfully, if you do this right, you can make 20 proposals a day, about 20 if you're working full time. And it's no problem to do a bunch of deals if you know what you're doing. And I'll show you how to set up your filters. If you've never done wholesale deals, uh, I'll show you how to get set up with it, and I'll teach you a little bit. I'll tutor you a little bit and show you some training videos. But here's a training video right here that I'm going to start with. You can call it a training video. We're looking at properties, and we've got in our filters, one of our filters is a fixer-upper. So we're not looking at all these pictures that are staged, properties that are staged for retail. We're looking at fixer properties. Now, fixer properties are the ones that you can wholesale, that you can assign the contracts on to contractors, okay? That's my forte, working with contractors. I grew up in the builder business, okay? And my family are residential home builders. My father, in fact, was one of the biggest residential home builders in Northwest Indiana. I grew up as a kid working in that business, okay, and worked all my college years, summer years and vacations doing construction work. So I know about residential construction. I grew up working in a factory with tradesmen, that are good. We're good professional tradesmen, and so I know how to talk to contractor people. That's my forte, working with contractors. Let's talk about Street View. Street View is important because we want to see where the building is situated within the environment. Now, this is this building right here. Looks like a two flat. It's priced what, 180, something like that. Let's look at the neighborhood. Well, you guys look at it. Now it might be street cleaning day or something like that. There's no cars in the street. And this is why you got to have off-street parking for these buildings. If you don't have off-street parking, it really hurts the value. So that's one of the things you got to check. In these areas where you got to have parking, you need it. Otherwise, it's very difficult to sell. Hey, the neighborhood's good, all right? It's good, all right? We go around the block, and we just look around and see if there's any real rats around the block. You go down here a little bit, and you just scope it out. No, there's no rats. See, people have got nice cars parked in the street. You know what that tells you? People are not afraid to put their car in the street. All right? Are you with me? Do you understand that? When you see cars that are very ratty sitting out on the street, it's not a good area. Okay? But here, they've got cars now. People have maybe moved their cars around to the side street because it's street cleaning day or something. But these are all pretty nice cars. Okay? Now I'm going to tell you guys something. Here's one that's boarded up right here. Does that hurt us a little bit? Not really, because it depends on the proximity of this building to our subject property. All right? Now, where is our subject property again? All right. Let me look at it again. But the subject block and the subject property is good. I want to show you something else real quick here. Go back to photos. Let's look at the photos while we're here. It's got steam heat. We know that. Well, steam heat is all right if it works. Okay. But if it doesn't work, and of course the landlord is paying the heat with hot water heat because it heats the whole building. And what happens is they don't have good timers on it lots of times. So the rooms are too hot. So what they do when it gets really hot is that people they turn off the radiators, but sometimes the valve is stuck or something. The kids can't turn it off. I say kids, but the people can't turn it off, and so it's too hot in the room. So what the people do is they open up the window, and the landlord is just paying to heat the outside now. And you see that a lot, where there's these old radiators, the valves stick on them and stuff. My dad had a big house with hot water heat with radiators, and it worked good. And he had copper in the floors, in the concrete floors, and that was terrific system. Uh, and he heated the boiler with wood. He was an old-fashioned kind of a guy, and it worked very good. But that's a different story. Hot water heat is fine. This is not a gut rehab, okay? We don't want to do any gut rehabs right now. The tariffs with Canada have made the cost of heavy lumber prohibitively expensive now. And you see a lot of abandoned rehabs where people get started on a project and then they find out the building materials are so expensive, heavy lumber. So they don't want to. They walk away from the rehab. They find out it's going to put too much expense into the building. So there's a lot of abandoned rehabs. Yeah, you can sell an abandoned rehab, but there's a reason the person abandoned the rehab. Okay, they figured out finally that they're going to have to put so much money into it for the neighborhood that they'll never get it back, and that's why they abandoned the rehab. They work with good intentions and they abandon it. This can be mostly fixed with 1/4 inch drywall over the rough walls, okay, and new doors and new trim, uh, and this would be okay. This bathroom, of course, needs to be done. I would try and save this cast iron. This is how I talk to contractors. Guys, I was trying to save this. I know this is a cast iron tub. Don't tear it out. Just put this coating on it, which is a beautiful coating. After you get everything done, and don't tear the tub out. Now this needs some little bit more of work, but it's no problem. Just drywall this little areas in the ceiling here. Nothing to it. Okay. This property here, I would do the rehab on a per square basis, and I would probably hit the rehab at about $45 a square foot for the entire building. I would. Something like that. You'll get a feel for that, and we have the software for that for different areas. And okay, same thing here. Cast iron tub. I put a cover over dress this up a little bit, and say, of course, you're going to have to save the radiator. This will be these for the plumbing's for the sink. This trim plumbing, nothing to it. You're gonna have to redo that. Probably retile it, make it pretty. And I would suggest in a classic building like this, you get renovator supply hardware, you know, and fixtures and stuff. It gives a real classy look. That's one of my favorite ones is renovator supply. It's period hardware. It's it looks nice. Okay, here's probably an original door. There may not be many original doors. It's sure nice to have them, but if you can't have them, you should put some matching doors. Here's this is probably the basement area here, but this has a high ceiling. It's mostly finished. I mean, this could, if it's legal. See here, this is a newer boiler and a newer hot water heater, so the mechanicals are good. And the basement appears dry. It's all good. It's all good. And you get parking. See here? They can come through this gate here and drive right back here. You get off-street parking. You don't have a garage. It doesn't look like it has a garage, but you got off-street parking. So I would say if you can buy this building for 110, 120, it's a wholesale deal, and you can probably make a $15,000, maybe even a $20,000 assignment on it. All right. Are you with me? I'm just looking at it and I kind of know.